But it was love at first swipe for our next guest. They're Paul Edwards and, well, Sarah Edwards now, aren't you? Are you used to that? Are you
not used to that yet,
Not used to that. Nee Sarah Elliott. They met on a dating app called Bumble in December, and Bumble led to fumbles. And anyway, the rest is history.
Yeah, so this was days after meeting. They fell in love online, they say. They met in person for the first time at Gatwick Airport. You take up the story. So until this point, the two of you met on Bumble, you were just talking.
Yes.
And you said you had this immediate connection.
Yeah. The first time I spoke to him, I think we spoke for 2.5 hours on the
But this was
phone.
only a couple of weeks ago. This was December 22nd, yeah?
December 13th, we matched. December 15th, we spoke for the first time.
And actually, Sarah, when you say you matched, you'd actually gone onto the app to delete your profile at that point.
Yeah,
you were so disillusioned with the whole dating
I
thing.
just thought, I just can't do it anymore. And all these men that let you down.
Does that mean you were desperate? Is this a result of being desperate?
No.
So you'd gone on to delete your profile, and there was this message from
Well,
Paul.
he'd sent his phone number, and so I thought, well, I'll give him a call, And I spoke to you for 2.5 hours, and then the next morning, 2 hours, and the next night, 3 hours.
And what was this
off.
connection, do you think?
We were very open and honest about everything in our lives, past, present, future, what our aspirations, what we wanted, what we were looking for from people.
I think that's quite...
And the communication.
I think that's normal. I think when people meet and they... I do think that, but... does that mean that you then, without ever physically having met, you say, hey, let's meet tomorrow or the next day, let's go to Las Vegas and let's get married?
Oh, well, yeah, it was...
Whose suggestion was it?
Well, the subject was raised about whether it's more about the connection of who someone is or whether it's a physical thing. And I was saying, we're both quite impulsive, and I was talking about the programme Married at First Sight, and you jokingly said, let's get married then. Then I said, don't tempt me. And then we thought about it. We thought, well, actually, to have this level of connection, why not start with that commitment to building a relationship? If you have to communicate...
It's risky, isn't it? Because a few conversations, just not a marriage.
Well, I think any relationship is a risk. You invest your emotions, your heart, your soul into that person. But if you can take that risk with the commitment from the beginning, then you know that you're going to work hard as you can in order to make that succeed.
Had you physically seen each other at this point?
Not until...
I'd seen 3
Christmas
pictures
Eve.
of him.
Yeah.
You'd been on my Facebook profile, though, so he'd seen a few more pictures. And we had a very brief video chat. But I couldn't really see him because it was really dark in your room, wasn't it? So I couldn't really see him. But I knew he was a real person, at least.
Did you see the picture of her in the Sun newspaper today? Did that change your mind in any way? This is
No.
Definitely not.
He'd already seen that picture.
I'd already seen the picture. I already knew her likes and dislikes. There wasn't anything that we hid from each other, so it wasn't
we've been completely open about literally everything.
OK, so you meet at Gatwick. Do you kiss?
Oh, no.
Oh, no, none of that.
No, so our first kiss was our wedding kiss, which I think is really beautiful. I don't think there's many couples that can say that they never even kissed before they got married.
I'd have to kiss someone before I agreed to marry them. Say you'd got married and then you didn't like the way he kissed.
I'm a good kisser, it's fine.
You not only just met at Gatwick, but you met in your wedding.
Yes.
So who organised what?
Oh, well, I thought that would be just really cool to be able to tell our future children that the first time Daddy saw Mummy was when she was in a wedding dress on the way to the wedding. And that's why we chose Vegas, so it was the same day, because you didn't want to see me in a wedding dress before the wedding
we looked
day.
at Barbados and New York, but it was all 24 hours that you had to wait, and I said, if you're going to turn up in your wedding dress...
This all sounds very romantic, but it also sounds absolutely crazy.
It does.
I'll be the
first ones to admit.
Mad. There are people that
probably a little
spend
bit,
ages, just a few conversations and being open and honest. How do you know that each of you's been open and honest?
You just
Trust,
know.
and you just know, and having faith in each other and having faith that it is going to be difficult, but any marriage is difficult and it has ups and downs, and you just have
What
to
about what
communicate.
everyone else feels? For instance, you have 2 children. How old are they?
15 and 13.
Right, so they're old enough to have opinions about all of this.
I told them both before we left. I took them out for lunch and for dinner.
And my family.
And both of them were absolutely over the moon. They said, Dad, whatever makes you happy.
Have they met Sarah yet?
The eldest met Sarah last night. We took her out for dinner with her boyfriend.
Which went really well.
And went really well. She absolutely adores her. And
You saying to me your teenage girls literally went, that's great, Dad?
Yeah, as long as you're happy.
Teenagers, they're very opinionated.
Normally.
They just want him to be happy. And I think, you know, with any family, and they'll be as much my girls as they are his.
Yeah.
Sarah and Paul, we wish you all the best, we really do. But what would you say to people who say, this is a publicity stunt, this is to get them in the public eye, get them on the telly, which it has done? Yeah. What would you say to
we
those
hadn't
people?
We hadn't expected the media to really just take hold of the story, and we just wanted to. We got in contact with the media originally to raise some money for a homeless charity. We thought maybe a little magazine might publish it, and then it's gone crazy. But
it's gone crazy. Well, guys, can I just say, certainly you look very much in love. I've spoken to you behind the scenes. You look very happy.
We are.
Very contented.
Yeah.
It'll never last.
no.
I don't mean you'll never last. I mean the happiness and
We'll
contentment.
keep an eye on you.
It will.
We'll keep an eye on you.
It will, definitely.
Come back
We
next
will.
year.
This is either
We'll
an
talk
amazing
again.
story or, as my darling wife said, it's bonkers. So, if,
I didn't say it's bonkers.
No, but
you seem very
everybody said
happy,
it
but
bonkers.
people will be going, married straight away. But we'll see.